Thank you, Tim. As many of you know, I'm going to help, but I'm not going to shepherd you. If you talk to me about Hood, I'm going to see if it's right for you to be guided by one of the guiding groups, if it's right for you to take some training for a day or two and then get hooked up with some like-minded, like-ability people, or if you're an experienced mountaineer but just don't have enough friends, we'll try to hook you up with some other people. That's not a problem here in the Highpointers Club. Everybody's got 100 friends, 200 friends. We'll contact me via email, preferably. It's in the newsletter, and we'll try to hook you up and get you going in the right direction. I'm planning on being on the mountain on a couple consecutive evenings. I have done it 3 times, always by camping above the high lift at 9,200. I find it makes it very easy. This method is called the Jack Longacre method, because that's what Jack did to get himself up that mountain. Moving right along, I'm the lead director of the Highpointers Foundation. A lot of you heard about us, many of you haven't. We started in 2006 a nonprofit 501c3 foundation, fully recognized by the IRS, to benefit the state high points, primarily the privately held ones, but also the publicly owned ones. We've assisted those too. We've also helped out quite a bit with the creation of a Highpointers Museum in Golden, Colorado at the Colorado Mountain Club in the Brad Washburn American Mountaineering Museum. Would anybody who's been to the BWAM, as we call it, and seen the Highpointers exhibit, please raise your hand. I know there's half a dozen. Oh, there's quite a few people. Did y'all ask for your discount at the door? Very good, very good. I'm excited to see all those hands. That represents the fruition of the dream of Paul Zumwalt and Jack Longacre 10 or 15 years ago to create a club museum. We could never figure out quite how to do that. The 2 gentlemen passed away. We had a number of thousands of dollars set aside from donations from everybody, and we put it to very good use there. We're continuing to do more things, and I'm going to let my good friend Roy Wallen come up here in just a minute and tell you about the other things that we're doing and why we would like you to help us. But first, I have a very cool thing that we're going to do tonight. We are going to live auction an Oregon 2012 package. This package is 2 persons registration, 2 nights at a nice room with a view of the mountain at Timberline Lodge. Your priority getting into whichever events you want to go to, which are going to fill up quickly, according to John and Kathy. If you decide at the last minute you want to go to the brewery tour and it's full, you get in. You're going to get your photo of choice, whatever photo you want to give to John and I, into the newsletter, and if you're really nice to John, maybe the cover. You're going to get to sit in the main seating area, obviously right up front for dinner with some of the luminaries of the Highpointers Club that are obviously, they must be important people here. They're sitting up front here. Tim, Kamel, how'd you get up here? I don't know. All right. This is going to be very cool. We're going to do that later on. So I want you all to be thinking, all y'alls, to be thinking of exactly, are you going to Oregon? And if you are you in a generous mood? This value has $700 face value, $235 plus tax times 2 plus $80 times 2 right there, $700. This is going to be to benefit the Highpointers Foundation. This will be like making a donation. Everything you donate in excess of $700 is tax deductible, and we will give you a gift acknowledgement letter stating that. So think about that. If you're thinking you're going to go to Oregon and you sense that it's not too much more than $700 and you're feeling generous and you want to get your smiling face on the cover of the Rolling Stone, then please, and my good buddy Billy Urbanski, whom I first met on the slopes of Mount Hood, Oregon, is going to be our auctioneer a little bit later on. Roy, would you please come up? Roy's going to give a very brief, I promise, where's Don? There he is. Discussion of what we've been up to in the foundation, and then turn this back over to Tim, who may have a couple more items for you guys to ponder. Thank you, Roy. Roy is the treasurer of the Highpointers Foundation.
Thanks, everybody. I'd like to recognize fellow directors, Gene Trousdale. Stand up. Barry White. Dave Kogo, you met. Fred Lobdell. Fred, thank you. Stoney Burke is one of our newest members, voted in during this meeting. Fred has been a great liaison, and we're looking forward to his contributions. Al Dempsey, thank you, Al. Been a great contributor, also voted in this meeting. Paul Pontiff, who's with us this evening. Paul has been a great advisor. Tanya Hancock could not be here for this meeting. Tanya is the person from whom you would receive your gift acknowledgement if you get a gift. Thanks. I got everybody, right? Thank you all. And Karen O'Brien was with us for many years. Karen has stepped aside in advance of motherhood and has some important responsibilities at home. And we acknowledge her strong contributions over the last couple of years. So thanks to all my fellow directors. I'd like to just review a little bit of what we do and encourage you to participate in whatever way you see fit. We're always looking for feedback on improvements that can be made to the High Points. We have the funds to be able to provide support to the High Point locations, especially those that are in private hands or where they may be in public hands, but where there's some additional development that could be made, and we have the funds available to do that. Dave mentioned the Fred Washburn American Mountaineering Museum. One of the first things that we did in 2007 was take the Museum and Education Fund and convert that. We added a little bit of foundation funds to it, and we made a $5,000 grant to the Washburn Museum. So I'd encourage you all to go visit that if you can get to Colorado. In 2007 also, when we had the convention in Wisconsin, we had a mailbox for registration at Kings Hill. And in that year, we completed the survey and all the survey marking that was required for Reno Point in Washington, D.C. In 2008 and in 2009, we provided significant funding for the development of Hawkeye Point in Iowa. And if you go to Iowa today, you probably wouldn't recognize it if you were there 10 or 15 years ago as I was. It's been slowly over time developed by the county, and we've had a great working relationship with Osceola County. And I would encourage you to go take a look at Hawkeye Point. We put some posters at the ranger station at the access to Kings Peak in Utah. It's on the Wyoming side, but you can see that as you stop at the ranger station, promoting the High Points. You saw last year the rock that we placed in Mississippi, and Gary did a great job organizing that. And we think that is a significant improvement to that privately owned High Point. So signs directing visitors to the High Point, and then the rock and the plaque on it. And most recently, we added signs and directions for Panorama Point in Nebraska. And as John suggested, there's the potential for us to make a significant contribution in the development of access for the Nebraska High Point. We spoke about that during our board meeting this week, and we look forward to that development. So there's a couple ways that you can contribute. If you visit a High Point and you think there's something that we need to know about, contact one of the board members, and we all work on pretty much the same level. We have some specific assignments within the board, but we all talk and we all can handle whatever suggestions you have for us. Please present those to us. In the newsletter, you'll find a contribution form if you'd like to contribute to the Highpointers Foundation. We encourage you to fill that out, send a check in to the address that's noted there, and with the exception of a couple of the special things that we do, 100% of donations are tax deductible, and we'll send you an acknowledgement letter to that effect. So we are an independent organization, independent of the club, although interdependent to a certain degree. And as a result, we can offer you a tax deduction or acknowledgement for tax deduction. And one of the other things that we've done most recently is, actually over the last few years, initiated a series of silent auctions. We've had items that have been donated to us, largely books, and we've auctioned those off through a silent auction that can be done online, looking at highpointersfoundation.org, and you can go into the donations part and you can make a bid on the silent auction there. And we get those books at a very competitive price, and then we can auction them, and you can reap the benefit of having a great book. Many of them are signed by very famous people, and then the difference between the retail price and what you actually pay is also deductible. So again, I encourage you all to participate. Please let us know where you'd like to see improvements made, and please contribute as you all see fit in the financial support of the foundation. Thank you.
I'd just like to report that at our board meeting today that there was nothing significant that was passed or changed. Roger Roulette, our club secretary, will have the minutes available